The sun beats down on the corrugated roofs of Mogadishu, but inside the office, the air is still. On a heavy mahogany table, a single document lies flat. It is the Somaliya-Turkey energy deal. The ink is still wet, catching the light from the window. This is not just paper. It is a shift in the tectonic plates of the Horn of Africa. For years, nations in this region have watched their resources leave their shores for a fraction of the value. But this agreement breaks the cycle. It locks in a 50-50 profit split. No more settling for 10 or 30%. This number is a declaration. Officials stand around the table, their shadows long against the walls. They look at the signatures, then at each other. There is a quiet intensity in the room, a recognition that the terms written here carry the weight of a nation's future. Outside, the Indian Ocean waits. The promise of sovereignty is no longer a concept. It is now a tangible reality resting on the wood, waiting for the first ship to leave the harbor. The focus shifts from the signatures to the floorboards. In a room adjacent to the signing, the mahogany table is pushed aside, replaced by sprawling, oversized maps of the seabed. Engineers from Turkiye and Somalia lean over the charts, their fingers tracing the jagged contours of the continental shelf. The atmosphere is stripped of ceremony, replaced by the sharp, rhythmic cadence of technical coordination. One engineer points to a specific trench, questioning the pressure capacity of the proposed pipeline. A colleague from the opposing team leans in, tapping a calculator, offering a counter-calculation on flow rates. The debate is brief, intense, and entirely focused on the mechanics of extraction. They are not discussing policy. They are solving for depth, current, and seismic stability. Every line drawn on the map represents a logistical hurdle that must be cleared before the first rig can be positioned. They mark the coordinates for the primary drilling site with red ink, a consensus reached through shared data. The reality of the project takes shape in the details of pipe diameters and deep water safety protocols. Outside, the first survey vessels are already fueling at the docks, their hulls vibrating with the hum of engines preparing for departure. The transition from abstract promise to industrial action is complete. The teams stand back, looking at the finalized route, the silence between them now filled with the shared understanding of the massive, complex operation ahead. Beyond the office walls, the mood is not one of celebration, but of cold calculation. Critics gather at the perimeter of the port, their eyes fixed on the loading cranes. They are not looking for engineering triumphs. They are looking for evidence of integrity. Every shipping container that hits the dock is logged, photographed, and cross-referenced against the public promises of the deal. A murmur of skepticism ripples through the crowd when a shipment of secondary drilling equipment is delayed by 3 days. It is a small, technical lag, but in this climate, it feels like a warning. The observers watch the flow of capital with the same intensity. They track the movement of funds from the initial investment phase, questioning whether the 50% share will actually reach the national treasury or bleed away into the unseen cracks of bureaucratic administration. The air in the city is heavy with the question of accountability. Every barrel of oil yet to be extracted is already being weighed against the history of missed potential. The clock is ticking, and the trust of a nation is the currency currently being spent. The hesitation at the docks ends with the blast of a low-frequency horn. The primary survey vessel, a massive steel structure, begins to pull away from the pier. Thick, black smoke erupts from its stacks, staining the morning sky as the engines roar to life. The mooring lines are cast off, splashing into the harbor water with a heavy thud. On the deck, crew members scramble to secure the drilling rigs, their movements sharp and synchronized. The ship lists slightly as it turns, the hull groaning against the pressure of the tide. It is a slow, deliberate movement that signals the end of debate and the beginning of extraction. A second vessel follows, its propellers churning the harbor into a white froth. The fleet cuts through the calm water, heading toward the open horizon. There is no turning back now. The capital city shrinks in the distance, a collection of white buildings fading into the heat haze. Every mile the ships put between themselves and the coast is a mile closer to the deep water reserves. The sound of the engines echoes off the harbor walls, a constant mechanical heartbeat. The project is no longer a document or a promise. It is a physical force, moving toward the deep ocean, carrying the economic weight of a nation on its steel frame. The sea is open, the path is set, and the first phase of the gamble has officially begun. The horizon swallows the last of the survey fleet, leaving only the empty, restless surface of the Indian Ocean. Now, the work shifts from the noise of engines to the silence of the audit. International observers track the coordinates, measuring every meter of progress against the promise of the 50% share. This is the ultimate test of sovereignty. If the revenue flows into the national treasury and translates into schools, hospitals, and stable power, this deal will stand as a global blueprint for equitable resource sharing. If the accounts remain opaque and the wealth vanishes, it will be remembered only as another cautionary tale of missed potential. The signatures on the document are dry, but the impact is yet to be written. Every barrel of oil extracted is a metric of trust, and every day of drilling is a countdown. Somaliya stands at a crossroads, watching the deep water, waiting to see if the promise will transform the nation. The world holds its breath, waiting for the first sign of a future that is either a triumph or a tragedy.